So fentanyl's not just changing drug use. Fentanyl's not just taking our kids. Fentanyl's changing the way we need to recover. My message is very clear to people in recovery. The time to remain anonymous is over. Over. There's no 10-year-old kid that's going to Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous and getting to hear a story that needs to hear. The stigma associated with addiction is because there's so many of us that could not hide I picked up cigarette butts off the floor where we're standing. I lived on the New York City subway system. Some of us that are in recovery got to come out and start taking some of the shots. Stigmas exist because there's ignorance. Ignorance exists because there's no education. I couldn't hide my addiction. Why would I get in recovery and hide the best version of me? So if you're in recovery and you're hearing this, it's time to stop being anonymous. If you're in recovery, we need to start taking some shots. If you're in recovery and just getting your life together, that's not enough. You need to step up and stand with the families and stand with law enforcement. And like Andrea said, and I'm going to back it up with Mr. Tarantino, this is not a war on drugs. This is a fight to save lives. And the more we see as a drug problem, 18 to 45, does that sound like a drug addicts to you? You know what the age rate of the dying quickest? 17 and under. Sound like drug addicts to you? This is a humanitarian problem. And the more and more we think it's separate and we think it's law enforcement's problem or legislation's problem or the parents' problem, the more and more we think it's one person's problem, the more and more there's going to be a life dying every 5 minutes. So the message is clear. This is not a war on drugs. This is a fight to save lives. And like Andrea said, when we go into St. Patrick's Cathedral, if you think fentanyl is a drug addict's problem, I'm telling you right now, drugs don't discriminate. And fentanyl is an extermination of human beings. You want to see the extermination? Come walk with us at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Have your voice be heard. Don't let stigmas exist. Keep fighting for the loved ones and let our voices be known that we will not stop. And I got one more thing. Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary of doing good. For in due season we will reap if we do not give up. There is no more giving up. There's just saving lives. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Living Proof Recovery Podcast. We're your host. I'm Evan. This is Brian. Tonight we wanted to, kind of do something a little different than what we've been doing. We just watched this video. I wish I knew what this gentleman's name was, but I saw this video and shared it on social media earlier this week, and it has been on my mind ever since, because everything he said in this video is so accurate 100%. And so true. And the time of being anonymous has got to be over, and everything he said, it just started clicking with me. And I was like, man, like, he's right. This is from, fuck the war on drugs. We're never going to stop that. Right now we're fighting to save lives. And that's what this is all about. And then we just left a treatment center before we started recording tonight, and it all just kind of tied together. And I was like, man, this is something I want to talk about. So when you heard that video, what stuck out to you?
First thing that sticks out to me is that we are losing the battle.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I've been struggling with or dealing with, or that I've noticed for a while, right? What we're doing isn't really working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's working for some, right? But our success rate is not where it used to be. And it's not where, in my opinion, where it could be or where we need it to be, right? Like I said, we're losing the battle. So many people are dying from fentanyl, carfentanil, alcoholism, like just across the board.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is kicking our ass. You and I are lucky enough to have found the solution, but there's a lot of people that aren't. They're not given the solution, or they're being taken before they even get an opportunity to. What I liked about in the video is he talked about it's not this demographic of 18 to 45. It's a lot of people younger than that.
Absolutely.
So people are starting with these drugs, with fentanyl, carfentanil, instead of starting with beer, weed, Xanax, things like that, right? Now, those aren't good either, right? But when you're starting off with the thing that's killing everyone, it's almost like you're signing your own death sentence, because there's no progression. It's like, and then there's a lot of people, what I think a lot of people don't understand is he said it's not just a drug addict problem. This isn't a drug addict problem because a lot of people under age 17 or even adults are doing these drugs. They think they're doing a certain drug and it's laced with fentanyl, carfentanil. They think they're taking a Xanax for a little bit of anxiety. They think they're taking a Vicodin. They think they're just going to smoke some weed that's been contaminated or meth, and they die. I think I maybe mentioned it on, I don't know if I mentioned it on here or not before, but when I drive up 65, I see this billboard of this guy, Lance, that I know that died from fentanyl overdose. And he didn't know he was taking fentanyl. He knew he was taking drugs.
Right.
He was a cocaine addict. And he relapsed when he got some cocaine, and it was laced with fentanyl, and it killed him. A lot of this stuff can be prevented with some education. And that's one area where we're really lacking is, the Nancy Reagan thing, just say no. That's so far beyond what we need to do. That's not enough. Just telling someone drugs are bad is not enough. Because a lot of us are hard-headed, especially when we're young. Even if we know what we're trying, we think we're invincible. I did. At 18 years old, I think I'm invincible. It's not going to happen to me. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not going to overdose. So that's kind of where my mind goes, is that we're losing this battle.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are. And I think, how he jumped so quick to that, the time of being anonymous is over, and then that it's so true because, then he talks about the stigma and, the ignorance, and the ignorance is because there's no education. And, when we're a lot of people in recovery, they're brought into these anonymous programs, Narcotics Anonymous,
Heroin
Alcoholics Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, whatever it is, it's all anonymous. But like, fuck that. Like, this is real life now. People are out here dying every day. All day, every day, there's people out here dying. And the more we remain anonymous, the more people are going to die. And I could go on a tangent about the people who are uneducated on addiction and all that, and whether it's a disease or it's not a disease, and it's a choice, and whatever. I don't even care. It's irrelevant. I don't care, because people are dying. And he talks about people in recovery. We have to start getting out there and taking some of the shots. And we're not going to be taking any shots if we're just anonymous.
No.
I want people to know that we are living proof that there is a solution and that there is a way out. And I don't care what age they are, because like he said, the 17 and under, these kids are trying these things for the first time, and I think about my daughter especially, because she's getting to that teenage years. And I know what happens in those teenage years. So
experimentation.
Exactly. And I know that talk is going to come sooner than later. And, if we're not willing to put ourselves out there to let people see that there is an answer, if that happens to be the route that their life takes, which we hope it's not, obviously. But the more of us that are not anonymous, the more we can try to turn the tables, because right now we're losing the battle. You know,
Well, I think it's time to stand for something.
yeah,
You have to stand for something, right? You gotta. I can't just sit in silence because it's that another. I mean, he said so much good stuff. And
yes.
dude, like it's just all going through my head. Like, and something that we've heard a bunch of times, right? And we pay lip service to is that these drugs do not discriminate. Addiction does not discriminate. Alcoholism does not discriminate. Mental health does not discriminate. And there's not enough education out there. Because think about, a couple years ago, we had this COVID outbreak. Everyone all of a sudden was an expert on COVID because it's everywhere.
Right.
Everyone's talking about it. It's on every news channel. It doesn't matter if you listen to CNN or Fox News or WLKY, whatever it is, right? They're educating people on it. And everyone becomes an expert. Everyone knows about it. Think if it was killing as many people as what these drugs are doing. How much information? Why don't we have that same kind of information about this? Why isn't this? It's an epidemic. It's a bigger epidemic than what COVID was, in my opinion. Because people are, what did it say, every 5 minutes, someone is dying.
Yeah.
And those statistics aren't slowing down.
No.
They were it was high when I got sober, and it seems like it's only getting greater because it's in everything. It would almost be a shock to me today if I was using to buy drugs that didn't have it in it. Like you said, man, fuck the stigma. I don't care who knows that I'm an alcoholic. Like he said, like, why would you want to hide the best part of you?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Get sober to hide the best version of ourselves. It's stupid.
I spent my whole life hiding who I was.
Yeah.
So I'm taught in recovery that I need to do the opposite of what I used to do. So what I need to do is be transparent, be open-minded that maybe the way that we're doing some things isn't working. Like my sponsor used to say, like, how's your way working for you? So if I've got to be open-minded early on in recovery, why wouldn't I have to be open-minded now about maybe the way that we're doing things isn't working? It doesn't mean some of the things aren't working, or it doesn't mean that we have to change everything that we do. But we take an inventory, right? We inventory ourselves when we get sober. Well, we need to someone needs to take our 12 step, our fellowships inventory and kind of look at it and say, is what we're doing working? If the answer is yes, cool, keep going. But the numbers don't show that it's working. So it's like we have to still, it says in our book, right? A business that doesn't take a regular inventory usually goes broke. True. When's the last time in our fellowship we took an inventory of how we're doing things?
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that we just throw everything out. But we need to kind of look at some things and say, hey, what can we do different? What can I do different? How can I make a difference?
Right.
And that's where it starts.
Yeah.
It's going to start with us.
Yeah, because this is like he said, this isn't a war on drugs. How long has the war on drugs been going on?
Yeah, bro, it's
right.
100-year war.
Yeah, you're never going to stop it. The government is never going to stop it. So fuck the war on drugs.
I don't even know if they want to.
Right. So this is our responsibility, all of us in recovery. This is our fight.
Yeah.
That's where we're at, and he, like you said, he said so many things in that video that, another thing he said was, if you're getting sober, what do you say? If you're getting sober just to better yourself, that's not enough.
No, it's not.
It's not enough.
Just not using is not enough.
No, absolutely not.
So much more.
Because there's kids, the next generations that are coming up, this thing's only going to get worse.
And by the way, that's never been enough.
No.
Right. So this isn't something new.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's never been enough. That's not enough. Like, that's the whole point. It's about being of service,
Mhm.
right? So that's one way that we can turn the tide. And one is education.
Hmm.
People need to understand what the real problem is.
Mhm.
It's not that these people are just weak-willed, junkie drug addicts.
Mhm.
That needs. I think that's starting. I think that's gotten better, but it's still miles away from where it needs to be.
Right. You know, and
Do you think they teach this stuff in school?
no. Well,
I don't know if they do or not.
so I know they have certain points
Right.
through the year where they talk about it,
Right.
but I'm not sure how in depth they
Raw
go.
They are.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I remember, we would have people come into the school.
Mhm.
Some guy would come in and tell us about, how drugs ruined his life
Mhm.
or something like that.
Which I'm going to do, and
Dude, I think
at the
that's
end
fitting.
at the end of October,
I think
I'm
that
getting
is
to go to
fitting.
the school to do that, and this since I heard this video though, it's just been on my mind, and I'm questioning myself, like, am I doing enough?
Yeah, I do that a lot. And a lot of times the answer is no,
Right. There's more that I can be doing,
for sure.
To bring awareness
Mhm.
to what's happening out here, because we are dying at record numbers. And it's not just, obviously fentanyl out of the drugs. Fentanyl is the leading cause, hands down. But, nowadays it's so much deeper than that, because kratom, even kratom.
Yep.
I've been reading stuff on that,
You
and
start to stomp one thing out, man, another one pops up.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy, the amount of people that have passed away from kratom, that you can just go into any gas station and
Yeah.
purchase over the counter. It's crazy, and it's the time is now. I don't want to, which I haven't been anonymous about my
Me neither.
sobriety.
Me
I
neither.
don't care who knows
Yeah.
that I'm in recovery. I don't care. I don't, employers, random people on the street, I don't care, because there's going to be somebody that might be struggling, and they're going to be like, well, he's open about it,
Right.
and that opens a door.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep asking myself, like, what more can I do?
Well, I
what
think
more?
one way that we can make a difference, and I think it's on a more of a micro level, right? So this is for the people that are already in the rooms. Okay, so it's not for this this approach isn't for people that are outside of the rooms. Okay, but one thing that we can do is speak the truth. And a lot of times I think that we use our meetings as opportunities to talk about our day, right? And a lot of times we do a disservice because people don't understand that this thing is life or death. They don't understand that the very next time could be the last one. We don't know. It's not like there's an app on your phone that pops up and says, if you relapse today, it will kill you. That doesn't happen, and we think that, just because, I don't do fentanyl, so I just do meth. So I don't have to worry about it. Bullshit, because that shit's laced in everything. So you go out and you don't even think you're doing it. So I think, it's kind of like we just got to be upfront and honest with people, and educate them, and like, dude, like, you're going to fucking die. If you don't get this thing, you will die.
Yeah.
Unless you're the exception. Are you the exception to the rule? That's the person that's impervious to overdose? I don't think so.
Right.
So, and it'll hurt people's feelings, but I don't give a shit anymore about people's feelings. People can get butthurt. I don't care, because I would rather someone live than me worry about pissing them off.
Right.
You know, like I'm gonna piss them off probably anyways. So,
True. And you're talking about more along the lines of, like you said, people that are in the rooms,
Yeah.
of spreading that to them. You know, I'm thinking of the people who have not found
right.
the rooms,
Right.
right? You know, and I'm trying to come up with ways in my head to get out there and spread the awareness to them. And you know, because think about how it was when you were in the madness, right? And because I know for me, for a long time when I was in the madness, I didn't want to fucking be in the madness.
Right.
I just didn't know how to get out.
Yeah.
Think about how
The majority of the time.
exactly. So I'm thinking about ways to reach the people who are in the madness that don't know how to get out, you know, and to pass resources on to them and get them a way out, you know. And I don't know exactly what that looks like. I know I've mentioned it to you about maybe we get out there on foot, literally on foot, and just go out. You know, I don't know what that looks like. I want to figure it out though.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because I know there's more that I can be doing, that we can be doing as a
Right.
whole.
Right.
You
And
know?
that just kind of makes me think of the stigma he was talking about, right? Is this isn't, of course, this is going to start with us, not just me and you, like from one person to another, right? The medical community isn't going to fix this problem. They're just going to come up with more drugs, right? They're not going to fix it. It's up to us to fix it, right? So
Yeah.
I think that what you're saying is noble and it's a great idea. I think that we have to, but it can't just be people in recovery that do these type of things, right?
Right.
Like it needs to, the outreach of it needs to be greater than that because like you said, I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and says, I want to be an addict. I want to be
No.
an alcoholic, right? This could affect anyone. It does not discriminate. Like it said, like I was talking about earlier, does not discriminate, you know? So people need to be educated on it. They really do. And this is not a fun conversation to have with your kids,
Right.
but it is a necessary one. We have so many other uncomfortable conversations about other important issues. Why wouldn't we do it with this one?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're only talking about people's lives here. I mean, that's all
Yeah.
we're talking about, you know, and unfortunately, a lot of times this doesn't affect people until it hits home, until it's someone close to you. And then it's like, oh shit, you know, like this is real. This is a problem, you know, because it's kind of easy to turn a blind eye to it if you're not experiencing it in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that once it happens to you, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, like when I got sober, so we went to this treatment center tonight, and the guy asked me when we were leaving, he said, so your wife's not in recovery? I said, no. And he said, how do you explain to her the things that you needed to do in order for you to stay sober? I said, first thing is, you know, this is your responsibility. Your recovery is your responsibility. It's not hers. But secondly, you've got to educate her. I said, I had to educate my wife. I had to educate my parents. And I sent them some things to watch because I wasn't able at that point in time to articulate very well
Right.
why I did things that I did. But I sent them some links on YouTube about a certain speaker and they watched it and they were like, I get it. Like it makes sense now why you do what you do. And so my kids watched it, you know, so I wanted my whole family to understand what was going on, you know, because I could have very easily just kept all that to myself and tried to recover in silence. We've talked about that on here before.
Yeah.
About how I tried to do things my way and recover in secret, doesn't work.
Right.
It just doesn't work. It never has, it never will. Because all I'm doing is walking around living a lie.
Mhm.
So, but I think there's a lot of different ways. If we can raise awareness for breast cancer, autism,
Mhm.
other mental health disorders, and we should,
Yeah.
right? We definitely should. Then we can do the same type of things. We can substitute fentanyl in for any of those things,
Right.
or addiction, or alcoholism, or mental health. For those same things, I would think that we could try to attack it the same way. Maybe not. I don't know, but I don't know, man. I think kind of what you said is these people that are struggling or that might struggle in the future that aren't struggling yet, they're not just going to show up on our doorstep and say, hey, feed me some information. It doesn't work that way. Like, we've actually got to get out there and carry that info
Right.
to them. And I think it starts in the house, in the home,
Yeah.
and then it spreads out from there.
It, because through our own research that we've done
Mhm.
over the last couple of years, I remember one of the statistics that I found that, and I shared it with you, obviously, when I found it, and both of us were just kind of like, wow, Jefferson County was like number 6 in overdose death rate
Yeah.
in the country.
Yeah. Insane.
That's crazy. And here you are, you live in Jefferson County. I'm on the outskirts, but it's only going to keep growing
Right.
and getting further and further out. It's insane to think that where we live ranks that high
Mm-hmm.
in the country.
Yeah, and it
Like,
doesn't
it
matter
blew
if
my
that person
mind.
is a homeless man, a doctor,
Right.
a therapist, a garbage man.
Mm-hmm.
There's no certain
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? Demographic.
Right. Yeah.
Now, more of them are younger,
Everyone
but
qualifies
everyone
for it.
exactly everybody qualifies. Like,
Everybody.
you're not going to be too smart
Mhm.
to withstand how powerful those drugs are.
Right.
And you can make the right decision to not even, I'm not going to do fentanyl,
Mhm.
and still end up doing it because you don't know you're doing it.
Yeah.
That's what's really scary about it.
Yeah.
Because if you think about, when I was younger, you'd go to a party and your friend would be like, hey, I got these pills. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, what's in them? How's it going to make me feel?
Yeah.
How many can I take? It's just like, yeah, let me have one. Can I have another one?
Yeah.
And there wasn't this fear of overdose,
Mhm.
because like I said, we think that we're invincible, or maybe my thought process is hindered a little bit because I've been drinking or something,
Mhm.
and I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you're taking them. You seem fine.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
Yeah.
And I'm
Because
dead.
And that's like, years ago, it was, if you overdosed, it's because you did an excessive amount.
Right.
You did
Yeah.
an excessive amount of whatever substance you were doing. Nowadays, you don't need an excessive amount
No.
because you don't know what the fuck you're getting.
No. And,
And-
it brings up a good point. Think about when, say, you go to treatment and you've been doing fentanyl. You go to treatment for 30, 60 days, whatever. Maybe you do aftercare. Say it's, and now you have no tolerance.
Mhm.
You get out, say you relapse. What are you going to relapse on? 9 times out of 10, that same drug that brought you there, right? Because that's what you want to go back to. And these people go back thinking they're like, maybe I just won't do as much. And that's still enough to kill them.
Yeah.
It's just,
I mean, I think about, before the first time I tried to get sober years ago, the amount of drugs that I used between the heroin and Oxycontin and the amount that I would use in a 24-hour period was very excessive. Very excessive. And then, fast forward to before I got sober this time, I was I would say I tried to be a little more cautious just because I knew what's out there is not what I was familiar with all those, before. And, I don't know, I was being sold this stuff as heroin. And they would ask me, the person that I bought from at this time, they would ask me, do you want it cut with fentanyl? And of course, every time I'm like, no, I don't.
Right.
Please don't, and I don't know if they were
Right.
or if they weren't, but I was spending about $200 a day doing all of it. And then that last use, when I decided I needed help, and I bought 2 little blue pills,
Right.
and I just, the day before and for however long before that, I was spending $200 a day on heroin.
Yeah.
Probably cut with
It's not
fentanyl.
regulated.
I don't know. I bought these 2 little blue pills and fell out in my driveway in the freezing cold for hours.
Right. It's scary.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, like you never know what you're getting.
No, see, like this Celsius right here, it has an ingredients label on it.
Mm-hmm.
It tells me what's in it. So I know this is regulated. And I don't know what half this shit is.
Right. Right.
But at least I have an idea that someone knows what went in this. And it's okay for me to drink it. But if I go, even if I've been buying from the same person for 6 months, the next time that I buy, it might not have fentanyl in it. It might have carfentanil in it.
Mm-hmm.
It might have a higher dose. Like this stuff is not regulated.
Right.
So I'm playing Russian roulette with my life.
Yeah.
Every use. And if I'm using multiple times a day, I'm playing, what are the odds? Eventually there's going to be a bullet in the chamber. Eventually. And it might be the first time. Might be the 20th time. I don't know. So I think that is so powerful that what that guy was talking about, that this is about saving lives. I look at it as like it's a war or attack on our country, because a lot of this stuff is coming from Mexico, China,
Right.
and it's almost like they're sending it over here to slowly kill us and kill everybody that we care about. It's like it's like this. There's a war on drugs, right? But we don't look at it as we're being attacked. We look at it as I don't really know exactly how to say what I'm trying to say, but is it making sense that it's like this form of war that
Chemical warfare.
right, but it's under our nose. Like we know it's a problem, but we look at it as it's an individual problem.
Right.
Like it's the person's problem because they're stupid enough to try it, so therefore it's their fault. It's their problem. And what I know about this disease is that's couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
Like I might know, that drugs are
That's
bad for me, but that's not going to stop me from doing them.
And I think that's what he was getting at, where he was talking about, it's not the police's problem. It's not,
Right.
The parents' problem. It's not any individual. Like, this is our problem as the recovery community.
Mhm.
That's who this weighs on,
Mhm.
is the ones of us who are in recovery. This is our problem.
Yeah.
And we have to get out there and be open to the world. We can't hide ourselves from this reality. We have to be the ones on the front line, spreading awareness and showing that there's a solution.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's getting at. This is our responsibility. This is our fight to fight.
Mhm.
Because we've been through it and we've made it out the other side.
Well, if we're truly, how do I say it? If we're truly good stewards of the program that we're involved in, then that's a responsibility that we take.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what our 12th step is all about. It's all about carrying the message of hope, that there is a solution, that there is a way out. Right? So
And it really, one of the things that pisses me off more than anything is someone that comes into our program and takes, that just doesn't give back. They come in, they work the steps, they work the first 11, they get some relief, and they're gone. They're either gone or they just keep coming to meetings, but they don't sponsor anybody. They don't go to the treatment center. They don't, do anything to help anybody else out because they got what they wanted out of it.
Yes.
And that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It's selfish. And I got news for those people. You're probably not going to stay sober long term if you have that approach.
Yeah.
Because we need people. We need you. We need you. We need everybody, because I can reach some people. There's some people that I can't reach. They're just not going to hear what I have to say.
Right.
You can reach certain people, but we don't need more Brian and Evan.
Yeah.
We need every individual in their own way carrying the message of hope and a solution to these people. So we need them in a trench with us. We need people lockstep carrying the same message, but they're going to carry it in their own way. That's what we need. Because somebody is going to die if you don't stay sober. And if you don't do your job, somebody's going to die. And that's just the fact. Because if my sponsor didn't do that, I don't know if I'd be sitting here today. I don't know if I'd be alive.
Yeah.
I might not be. I might be. I don't know. Maybe someone else would have scooped me up and helped me. But if he would have just said, you know what? I'm sober. This is why I came here. I'm good to go. So peace, guys. Like, I'm out. I mean, that's how selfish can you be?
Right.
Like, I mean, that's just, it drives me crazy. Like, it's just like, man, like you're that selfish. Like, somebody's daughter or someone's son could be the person that you could reach.
Yeah.
I have kids, and I've been scared to death that they're going to be like me, and that they're coming this way, and am I going to sugarcoat things to other people? I have a responsibility, man. Like, if say one of my kids ends up in the room, I want them to have someone that's going to tell them how it is and fuck their feelings.
Yeah.
Tell them the real raw truth. Hey, you have a responsibility here. You've got to get off your dead ass and do some work, and then you got to go help somebody, because that's the only way that we're going to turn it around, is from one addict to another addict. Like I said earlier, the treatment center is not going to fix everybody. They're not equipped to do that. The medical fraternity is not going to come up with another pill to fix it. So who does the responsibility fall on? It's on our shoulders.
Yeah.
And we've got to step up and get our hands dirty. But we need everyone to do it, not just a select few.
Yeah. And obviously that is another fight in itself.
Right. Yeah.
Getting everyone on board,
yeah.
But all I can think about is, what can I do? What can God do through me?
Where I think this starts, as far as like what we're talking about specifically right now, I think it starts with good sponsorship. I think, and where we fall short of that is piss poor sponsorship. Because it's our job as sponsors to teach. And shame on me if I have a new guy and I just let him off the hook. And I say, you know what, man, you're sober. That's good enough. You didn't drink today. You're a success. No, you need to get off your ass and go help somebody. Like, that's a requirement. It's not a suggestion. That is a requirement.
And I think, they're not just help somebody by taking someone else through the steps. that's where comes into play of
In
putting
all your
yourself
affairs.
out there,
In all your affairs.
all of our affairs, you know,
We
and
pay lip service to that a lot,
right.
but we don't do it.
Yeah. That's why I really want to do something. I want to come up with a plan. I know you and I together can brainstorm something on how we can reach out more. I know that's what I want to do, and to continue to spread awareness to this, not just through Overdose Awareness Month.
Right.
You know, one month out of the year.
Yeah, what the
you
fuck?
know, and I get it. Most things have, you know,
Well, there's
1 month
so
of
many,
awareness,
there's so many
but-
things that need awareness that it's kind
Yeah.
of,
yeah. But it's our responsibility to keep this thing going and to educate people on it, whether it's the kids, because like he even said in that video, there's no child, you know, whether they're 18 and under, you know, they're not coming into the meetings, they're not hearing
right.
something that they may need to hear.
Mhm.
Because they're not coming to these meetings because they're children. They're still
Yeah.
children.
There's babies dying of this thing.
Right. So
Like, think about that.
everyone, this needs to be spread to everyone, no matter the age of what the reality is and what's going on. So, I don't know, man.
Well, we got to figure it out. I mean, there's obviously something that we can do.
Yeah. I mean, we'll come up with something. So before we, I guess, wrap up, do you have anything else you?
No, man, I think for me, I just think that this is going to be an individual thing but we also do it as a group, right? So,
Yeah.
but I think it really starts in the home,
Mhm.
you know, and this has opened my mind up. I've been open to it, but that doesn't mean that it's kind of, I really love that guy did this. So like by him doing that, it's affecting us.
Mhm.
That's how these things work. There's a ripple effect to it,
Yeah.
right?
And he's on the other side of the country.
Right.
Don't know who this guy. I wish I knew his name.
Right.
Don't know his name.
I'd love
nothing.
to give him credit,
Right.
you know, because he's doing God's work.
Mhm.
But I'm going to sit down in my own house and have these tough conversations. You know, they've been had in a general way, but they need to be had in a more serious way, right? Because, you know, if something ever happened and I didn't do what I could do, it would be hard to live with myself.
Yeah.
You know, so if you've got kids or, you know, just these conversations need to be had. You know, I mean, even if they're hard,
Mhm.
you know, they still need to be had.
Definitely.
I mean, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So, and, you know, for everybody out there that is listening, you know, if you guys have any suggestions, anything you want to do, get together with me and Brian, something we can do in the community, whatever it is, like we're open to hearing about it and getting together and doing our part, spreading awareness and getting out there in the street and really going head on into this fight together. You know, get at us, message us, whatever it is, and I would be more than happy to hear you out and come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody out there. So
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
all right. Thanks, guys.